ruler never quits. He wishes the days for bells and fits.
It's just lovely.
Right.
Sailor's life is not for me. Abort, abort, abort. I'd rather be on sailor land in my merry port. Together now.
Come on, let's just get him back to port. Get him back to his little port. Come on, let's just get him back to port. Get him back to his little
Hello everyone, can you hear me okay? Jolly good. We didn't plan to do that, we're going with the flow today, so we got a ragtag mob in and just did it completely random. You might hear a few other songs later on. If you head to the bar area, we're doing the Cook's Assistant musical with the cow and everything like that, and we're doing Valerio's song, and we've got Sisters of the
Cythereid
Abbey, and things like that. So do come along and have a listen to us. It's sort of comedy genius, but not quite. Okay, so we're going to talk about leveling up RS3 audio. Do you all play with audio on? Yeah, that's probably why you're here, I suppose. So over the last couple of years since I've been here, it's been my remit to really bring RuneScape audio up to the next level, and we've put an awful lot of work into changing how we're doing things, and Ian's going to take us through the technological side of things. But this little talk, we're going to talk about how we've changed the audio tech for the game, what we're doing with the music and the orchestra and our sessions in Bratislava, how we brought musicians into the building, what we're doing with 6Age stuff and how we're moving the soundtrack forward, talk about voiceovers, talking about the ambient sounds of the game, and then what the future sounds hold for RuneScape. So I'll pass you over to Ian.
Right, well, hi everyone, thanks ever so much for coming. So, RuneScape 3, we wanted to improve the music and we wanted to make it cool, really. I mean, that was the main goal of what we wanted to do. So, one of the first things we needed to look at was the technical side of things and to get this cool music working in game. If you've played with music for quite a while, you're probably aware that some of the music was the older style, and it was what we call MIDI music, which is all sort of computer-based, no real instruments, nothing like that. But now, we're lucky enough so that we can have recorded music, and we can have recorded voices, and all kinds of sound effects and stuff like that, real musicians. One of the main things that we needed to do was to change the way that the tech works. So we've got dedicated audio servers now, so that streams the music on demand. So whilst you're playing the game, there's actually completely separate servers which are running all the music. And one of the key things that we wanted to do was to have CD quality music. So if you've got a really impressive sound system, hopefully the music will sound nice. And obviously, because 44, I don't know whether you know any of what this really means, but 44 killer 16-bit is exactly the same as what you get on CDs, or better really than what you get on iPlayer or iTunes, something like that. So we hoped that the music now is the kind of quality that you'd expect if you listen to even your favourite tunes.
Just to touch on that, from a technical point of view, it's a real challenge. We're a browser-based game to actually get CD quality sound. True. There's an awful lot of work gone into the technology to make it all happen. So one of the things that we did was we went to Bratislava to record an orchestra. I don't know if you've seen the videos that we've put out on that sort of thing. So the brief that we had was to really create a new epic RuneScape theme. We wanted to be sympathetic to the old classic theme, so it needed to be recognizable, but we wanted to bring it up to date, and that was the initial brief that we had. Out of it came a whole hour of new and reimagined music. It was played by the Slovak National Symphony Orchestra, and we used a lot of musicians back in this country as well that we'll talk about. And we used James Hannigan. I've known James about 10, 15 years, and I've worked with him before on the Harry Potter games, so he was the natural choice for us. He's done Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Dead Space, Command and Conquer. He's a big name in game music. And he's actually here today. He will be here about 2 o'clock. If you've got your packs, you'll see there's a CD in there. that is an hour's worth of all of James's music. So if you find him, get him to scroll his signature on there.
It's got my name on it as well.
Yeah, and Ian will sign it as well.
Yeah!
And I'll sign it if anyone wants that.
We'll sign it for you.
Yeah. So yeah, we used the world-renowned Slovak National Symphony Orchestra. While we were there, they were recording Dead Space 3, so we were kind of mixing in with those sessions. Do you want to put the next slide on?
Got a little video for you here to watch.
So this is a little bit of the orchestra setting up the session. See, they're really fast movers. So yeah, we went to Bratislava. That's the building that we went to, that upside down pyramid thing. It's a crazy, wacky building. It's the National Radio Centre. And you can see this enormous pipe organ that they've got in the background, it's a pretty amazing place. And when you're looking at that footage, it was just me in the whole auditorium. And then you realise there's 70 plus musicians that have dedicated their lives to their craft playing RuneScape music. It's a pretty humbling experience that all those things come to life at that point.
I didn't get to go to Bratislava, by the way.
Yeah, we didn't drink any beer while we were there. No, it was all hard work. So you want to move on to the next slide?
This is a little mix of some of the stuff that we like, some of our favourite tunes. There's the proof that they're playing RuneScape music and not their favourite music. Does anyone remember this one?
Do you know what it's called?
Yeah. Give that man a prize.
Did it bring a tear to your eye when it played in game?
Yeah, so apparently a few people were a little bit sad.
So we didn't record this in Bratislava, this was done in the UK. We brought in accordion players, violinists. We had a guy called Tony Hinnigan who's worked on things like the Titanic soundtrack and things like that. Does everybody remember the original Newbie melody? Yes? Okay. So, yeah, we tried to stay sympathetic to some of the old pieces of music, and Ian's going to talk about some of the stuff that we've done in the UK since Bratislava.
Yeah, so from MIDI to Maestro, I talked a minute ago about MIDI and about the quite low quality kind of sound that we used to have in the game, but now, luckily, we can have really good quality audio in there. So one of the main things, though, is that we really need to be sympathetic to RuneScape music, because there's no point in just making brand new tunes that no one kind of recognised. It wouldn't really be RuneScape, and you know, some people love the music, some people might not love the music, but it's got a sound and it's got a kind of character to itself. So it's really, you know, really important to us that we kind of made it RuneScapey, but better quality RuneScapey. So as Steve said, one of the first things is to have real instruments in it, have real players, people that have got their own talents and abilities, you know, to play these instruments. So we wanted to work with some of the best sort of session musicians around, and obviously that involved having to go out and find these people, which also involved sort of, you know, a really quite grueling session of going to gigs and, you know, going to bars and, you know, talking to musicians and having drinks with them and having a laugh with them. One of the other things about working with other musicians is that they bring their own kind of creativity, their own inspiration to it. So, you know, we may have written a lot of the music, but there's no point in just saying, play that. What we really wanted them to do is to kind of, you know, put their own little spin on it and make it sound good. And, you know, we do think that they've managed that really, really well. And, you know, we wanted to bring the areas to life, the songs to life. We wanted RuneScape to kind of really be cool and to be as good as anything else out there, which, you know, we think we've done. And just a few of the instruments there, which you may not know all of them. I expect that you've probably all heard of a flute, but you may not have heard of a bouzouki, which is a very kind of cool medieval kind of guitar. I believe it's medieval. Mandolins, guitars, violins, melodeons. The melodeon is the instrument that Will was playing a minute ago. It's not actually an accordion, it's a melodeon. There he is with his melodeon. Yeah. And the lovely Nikki there, who also plays violin and viola. Didn't even put viola on there, did I?
No,
sorry. No, disappointed.
Sorry, they did new versions of Sea Shanty 2 and Scape Sorrow and what else did you do? Second Harmony, a new version of Harmony, so things like that. And
the theme as well, you did the version of, didn't you?
Yeah, as Ian said, we use people's improvisation and creativity, so that they didn't come in with a set piece of music. It's like, here's the themes, work with them, make it into something new, and that's how we took the approach to everything.
We also had a string quartet come in as well, who were really cool, and a band called Moe's Gold Teeth, who we met in a pub, which was great. And now we've got over 6 hours of reworked music in the game. There's different levels. So we've got the really, really kind of high quality orchestral stuff, and then we've also got the high quality musicians recorded. But we've also did sort of loads and loads of little improvements to songs, because there's a lot of songs in RuneScape. So we'd be there for, you know, months trying to kind of rework them. So it's a process. It's something that we're working at. But at the moment, there's over 6 hours of reworked music, so hopefully the experience is nicer now. Here's some of the session musicians. You might recognise a couple of likely characters there, if you can see, because of this bright sun in November, which is slightly unusual. We've got another little bit audio clip to play you here.
The lady at the top, Eamon McGowan, is a really top Irish flautist.
Yeah, she plays concerts.
She plays Last Night at the Proms and things like that. She's a really, really talented person.
Well, we didn't just want to use kind of anyone. We wanted people who are good, you know, and who really love playing their music. And, you know, I'm sure Will and Nikki will, you know, agree. I mean, it's their passion. It's what you do. It's your life. You know, if you play music, if you play whatever you do, you know, if you're a mechanic, you know, you probably love cars. If you're a musician, you probably love music.
This particular version of Harmony, we had a harpist come in who is on there.
There she is.
I can't see that at all.
I'll shade the sun for you.
And she played Harmony on a full-size harp and then got a little folk harp out and harmonised over the top of it, and it turned into this really beautiful piece of music.
It's so amazing working with these guys. I mean, it was really new for us as well, so we had to use our little kind of office space. And we had microphones everywhere, and, you know, people coming in, and the video team were there doing videos, and there was leads and wires and everything like that. But that was amazing fun. And, you know, to work with people like, you know, Ema, Will, Nikki, and Becky, the harpist, is really inspiring. You know, it really makes you want to do better stuff, and it kind of makes you want to do more better stuff as well.
So Will and Nikki play this. It's like, let's just take the Scape theme and make it sad, and this is what they came up with. So it's a really, really pretty piece of music that just suited when Lumbridge got destroyed. It felt quite poignant in that particular moment.
Well, we did change a few of the tracks. This one actually isn't in game yet. You might recognise it. It will be in game soon.
We've not finished this yet.
No, we're not quite finished this one.
The flautist who played this was cursing me for about a week because she couldn't get it out of her head.
Right. Yeah, some people do say that RuneScape music sticks in their head, which is the idea at the end of the day. It's what we want to happen.
So, Sixth Age, RuneScape moves on and it develops. We're not just the kind of medieval fantasy type game. We wanted to push the boundaries of the music further than we've ever done before, and that included bringing in new types of music, new types of sounds, contemporary sounds. So recently we've been using electric guitars, distorted guitars, bass, drums, lots of vocals, singing, things like that. Dynamic music as well. So the music doesn't just play. For the world event, little stings come in, little interactive parts come in. There's all sorts of challenging things that we can do with the audio that we weren't previously able to do. Do you want to talk about the other things, Ian?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's stylistically challenging. I mean, what that really means is I talked about, RuneScape music being RuneScape music. Obviously, if we want to try and do some different stuff, we've still got to be sort of sympathetic to it. As I said, you don't want to do something that's so different that no one even recognises the game anymore. It'll be like kind of, taking Saradomin and, colouring him orange or something like that. I mean, no one would get it, so it's important. And also with dynamic music, we want to do more, and we try to now kind of introduce stuff, so things like jingles and little stings, as Steve said, when some of the world event, when some of the kind of, what are they, the units and that kind of stuff, the Saradomin and Zamorak, the champions turn up. They have their own kind of pieces of music that play, and it all sort of mixes in with the soundtrack. So, and we hope to do a lot more stuff with dynamic music in the future as the technology improves and as we have more time to do music, basically.
Some of the big changes that we've made for things like missing produced death and other recent quests, we've really challenged ourselves, and there's some really unusual music going on in there. So that's the sort of thing that we want to take further and further, and just see how far we can push it really before people start to complain a little bit.
Well, that's right. That's another.
Here's a little clip of some of the things we've done recently.
So this plays when it's, what is it? Is it the Elite Champion? You guys probably know more than I do about this one. Have you played the World event? Did you all get involved in that? You might have heard this piece of music then. Who sings this one, Steve?
Kerry sings this song.
Yeah, we drafted lots of people to help. We never used to put guitars into it, but for some people it'd be like, oh, put guitars into it, but we enjoy it, we love it.
The composer that did this, Mod Nick, he used my bass guitar and broke it. Broke it in half in the course of writing this piece of music. He's finished the music, but he brought my guitar back to me broken. We've got backwards guitars in this piece of music.
See, with the old MIDI stuff, we never used to be able to do any really cool effects. It's just the kind of the built-in sounds that you get in a sound card, so it's okay, but you certainly couldn't record a guitar and put it in there. I mean, the old MIDI guitars, they sounded rubbish. Well, hopefully not completely rubbish, but... Insanity, isn't it? This is part of the Ozan.
RuneScape is a very eclectic game. There's all sorts of different styles that we can bring in. Different areas can sound different. Like our Accordion is very, very much this kind of style, and we hope to do that all over the whole game world, that everywhere is themed, everywhere runs a little bit deeper into the lore and to the gods and to the stories that are taking place.
There's not that many games where you get like a fiery kind of like god and a wilderness, and then next door to it you get a cabbage that you can kick around and stuff like that. So yeah, it's quite a challenge with RuneScape. You can do pretty much anything with the audio. One of the things that hopefully you've been enjoying is the voices. And there's thousands of NPCs in game, and we never used to have the ability to put voices in, but I mean, this is a really cool way to bring the dialogue to life. And a lot of people have said to us that, you know, when you listen to the voices, it kind of gets you into the story more, and hopefully sort of immerses you in, you know, that you listen to the chat, look through the chat box instead of clicking through them, kind of get into the story and the lore behind it as well. And there's over 50 actors on our books now. The studio that we use is in London, and it's called OM UK. And Steve has worked with them for quite a while now, so we've got a good working relationship, and they've got loads of cool people. In fact, some of the actors, there's a comedians, wasn't someone on Coronation Street as well?
Yeah, we had Thomas the Tank come in the other day.
Thomas the Tank
actually.
Engine, that's right. Yeah.
I won't tell you which character he played.
No, that's right. The process, I mean, there's quite a lot to it. I mean, you know, the first thing that we need to do is to look at the biographies of the characters themselves. I mean, we've got to get a voice. If you want a voice for Saradomin, you know, there's no point in choosing a 14-year-old girl to do that. It's not going to work. So luckily, we've got really, really cool artists, and they produce these amazing concept art, which you've probably seen. And that really helps. The actors look at those kind of pictures, and then we show them clips and videos from the game as well. And, you know, they get into it, and they really get into character, and they kind of, you know, they spit out all sorts of different voices, and then we can choose the ones that we like. Obviously, when we're casting, you know, we may get kind of like 5 or 6 different people in to do the voice, and then we can choose the ones that we want, which is really amazing. And then it's obviously, the next bit is the recording session, where we either come to London to do it in the studio, or we do it via Skype. And then, of course, you can't just have an ordinary voice. If it's the voice of a god or a creature or something like that, you know, you need to process it. So that's another stage that takes a while and allows us to be creative. We can put backwards voices in, you can put some really kind of cool stuff in. And then once it's processed and recorded, then we've got to put it in the game. And that's also takes time. And it's a fairly complicated part of the process. But I've got a few, a couple of these are my kind of favourite voices in game. There's a few different ones. See how many you recognise.
With difficulty.
So, you've learned to channel that energy.
That was
Enjoy
deliberate,
it
that
while
last
you
voice.
can. Any moment now, it'll overwhelm you.
I would have believed you were more likely to emit the sound
Anyone
of
recognise this one?
grinding gears, you clockwork demon!
It's the Bot Finder General. That one.
Screaming, mercy, oh God.
This is one from our latest quest, and the last one.
Calm down, you're just dead.
Anyone know what the last one was?
It's death.
Death, of course.
And also, on top of music and voiceovers, we've got sound effects as well. Another really important part. I know a lot of people play with sound effects on, so they know when things are going on, if you're going to get spelled, or you know, someone's going to kind of run up behind you and kill you. It's quite nice to be able to hear things. And also, you know, some people play and they're, you know, maybe reading something, or you know, looking at another website or something like that. And then we know that people use sounds to kind of help them play the game. It's important to us to try and get the areas and the regions in the game sounding cool, and you know, I talked about areas being immersive and ambient, and one of the key things about that is making cool ambient sounds. You know, well, hopefully they're cool. You know, again, we've got 16-bit technology on that, so it's kind of pretty much the same as the music. CD quality means it's greater clarity. a lot more detailed sounds and a lot more realistic soundscapes. We can put a lot more stuff in now than we ever used to. The jungles and the wilderness and various places like that. I mean, they've now got all sorts of creatures and all sorts of sounds in there. And there's a couple of stages to that. The first bit is designing the sounds, making them. We've got big libraries of sounds that we can pick from, and then we can process them and put them in. But the other cool thing we can do now is live recording. So, for instance, Mod Adam R, I don't know whether it was in one of the behind the scenes videos, but he actually went around the office with a microphone and recorded various things. He recorded the tank and made a really kind of cool sound effect, which was used in the...
Origins of Gillinor video.
Yeah, the Origins of Gillinor, what was it called?
For the planet going past his Birth of the Tank. That's
right.
Recording for
and
that.
he recorded some of the server room and the air conditioners and stuff like that. And so some of the sounds you hear are actually the sounds of Jagex itself. I mean, there's also loads of little sort of sound effects of people making creature growls. I mean, I did the sound of a demon once before. We've got people that did the sounds of vampires and all sorts of stuff. So
and yelps. We did the sound of yelps as well.
Yes, one of the audio team is the sound of yelps. Arguably one of the most popular characters in the game. So we like to remind him about that sometimes.
So, future sounds of RuneScape. Where are we? Oh, I nearly fell off my chair. Where are we going next with it? We've done orchestral recordings. Are we going to stop there? We're going to continue working with session musicians. There is over 1,000 songs in game. If you play the RuneScape music back to back, it'll take you 3 days to listen to it. That's like doing 6 or 7, 8 hours worth is only scratching the surface. So we've got a long, long way to go. So we're going to take more of the classic tunes and melodies, rework them, bring more musicians in, and really go to town and try and update the whole of the soundtrack in time. More dynamic control, which means the music's going to be more responsive, whether you're in battle or wandering around. It's going to be more reflecting what you do. Stronger musical themes for areas and races. Like I said, we're going to dip more into what are the themes of the gods stylistically. What kind of motifs can we bring out of that? A lot of the Saradomin stuff is very like choral, lots of chants and things like that. Zamorak was very dark and dark textures, dark moods, and we'll certainly build on those sorts of things. Jingles and level up music is a big thing that we want to do. That's about time that it had a big upgrade, so we're going to flourish that with lots of nice orchestral little motifs. And for the longer term, real-time effects, so built-in things like reverb and filters, if people know what they are, like sound a bit duller if they're behind walls, and it just allows us to put a lot more control
well, that's right.
into
if you're
the
fighting
music.
a dragon in a cave, you don't
so
want it to sound like it's in a
reverb,
bucket.
It's all called DSP functionality and obstruction and occlusion and things like that, but you probably wouldn't want to know.
It's all our friends in
technical
the tech department again.
But they're all proper effects and tech that will make the game sound a lot more realistic.
Right. Now, the main part of the talk. You guys now have the chance to directly influence the game. And what we'd like is a little show of hands about what area you'd like to hear improved next. So we picked out 3. With the music so far, the main area we concentrated on was Mistalin, Lumbridge, Varrock, all these kind of regions. The kind of wandering areas that a lot of people, newbie players, will listen to. And so we thought, okay, let's pick 3 areas that could really do with an improvement. Mauritania, the jungles and the wilderness. I'm sure you know where all these areas are in the game, and I don't know whether you know what the tunes that are on these games, the tunes that are used in these areas or not, but we'd like you guys to choose, and then this is going to be the next one that we do, okay? So, a show of hands for Mauritania, please. Number 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's quite popular. Next is the jungles. Any jungle takers?
2. Oh dear.
Oh, the poor jungle. I vote jungles.
You don't count.
I'm not talking about jungle, kind of jungle music. I'm talking about, monkeys and stuff. And last, but certainly not least, the wilderness. Number 3.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we're going to go for Mauritania then.
Mauritania
Sorry.
it is.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you very much for helping.
And that's pretty much where we're at right now. But if anybody would like to ask any questions, then or sign any CDs or anything like that, then we're around for the next 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. 10, sorry, Connor. Any questions? Anybody? Question at the front? Mike's not on.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Well, I was wondering, for instance, Accordion, the music has been reworked, but why did you choose to not play the old music anymore in that specific area?
Well, I mean, there's a compromise, isn't there? Like I said before, we have to be complementary to RuneScape, but we also want to do new stuff as well. So it's important that we try and mix a little bit of both. I mean, some of the music doesn't translate very well because it was written on, just keyboard. So when you now play that on a violin, for instance, it sounds quite different.
And also, Accordion opens us up to lots of new textures and instruments that we could never use with MIDI before.
That's true.
So when we're using like ouds and bouzoukas and crazy violins and things like that, it just wouldn't have worked on MIDI. So it's almost like we can play CD quality music. So we can do what we want, and we can really stylistically theme it out however we want to do that.
Well, we also released 2 quests, of course, at that time. It was the double bill of Ozan, wasn't it? So, we wanted a new soundtrack for Ozan, really.
We wrote an awful lot of music for those quests.
Yeah, there was a
Ozan
massive
quests.
amount of
There's
music
about
went into
30-odd tracks, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
in
that's
total.
right.
Any more questions?
Anyone else?
Thank you. Do you think you'll be updating the song Chompy Hunt anytime soon?
Chompy Hunt.
Who wrote that song?
Yeah,
Is that one of yours?
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. Yeah.
Most of the songs were Ian's. Ian has been at Jagex over 10 years. He's actually employee number 4 after the Gowers. So he's been here since the dawn of time, and most
That's why I
things
look
are
so
his.
old.
Yeah. So Chompy Hunt is one of yours.
I'm
Ian.
only 21. Really.
When are you going to be updating Chompy Hunt?
Chompy Hunt. I don't know. Should we update Chompy Hunt? Should we? What do you think? What do you lot think? Should we update Chompy Hunt?
How does Chompy Hunt go?
Oh, you want me to sing Chompy Hunt now? I'll tell you what. I'll update Chompy Hunt if you can hum it.
Okay.
Go on then.
Yeah, okay, you know it.
Did we record that? That's good. We'll use that. There we go. Update sorted. Chompy Hunt. Who wants the next track doing? We can do it all this way. It makes life really easy.
Actually, now we can get basic guitars. Chompy Hunt could sound quite cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the. This wasn't what I'm going to ask. I've just thought about it now.
Okay.
There's one song, and I think it's underground. It's but it sort of goes. We've made some lyrics for it where it goes, drunken dwarves mining lots of coal, and that's the one that we
started to. Now we've got the ability to put songs in. I mean, Steve's a real advocate of singing in the game. I mean. But Steve is also really would like to do kind of like a RuneScape musical, I think, and put that in. I
would love to do a proper RuneScape musical. It'd be fantastic.
I think I'll probably have the week off when that happens. But no, but it's amazing to put lyrics in. I mean, like Wending Through the Willows and stuff like that. These tracks really kind of resonate with people. They really seem to like them. But if you want to submit the lyrics to us, well, we'll see.
Perhaps you can join us in our live performances later, and we'll do a live rendition to your lyrics. So definitely up for that.
I was going to ask a serious question though. A couple of years ago, 3 years ago, at the first RuneFest, you reworked some old songs.
Yes.
I think it was Animal Apogee into 2 different ones, but that never kind of happened again. You never reworked them again. I
mean, there's different reasons why we've updated music. I mean, like, obviously for this time round, we had a big increase in technology, but at one time, we found out that a lot of people playing on other browsers like Mac and stuff, using Macs and stuff like that, weren't even hearing the music. So it was really important that we kind of moved away from just a pure kind of like using your sound card and made our own set of instruments, basically. I mean, even back in those days, it was still simple, but it was, if we found out that people weren't being able to listen to the music, so it was important that we updated them. Unfortunately, that did change some of the character of some of the songs. And you know, some of them hopefully sounded better. Some of them might not have sounded as good. I mean, obviously people, you know, get nostalgic about stuff like music, and you know, they love it. So, but those songs have always been really popular, actually. I mean, Animal Apogee is one that we hear a lot of good comments about. So, you know, in time, we're probably going to do even more with those kind of pieces. Whether they go more like the original ones or turn into something a bit newer, we're not too sure. We don't want to, you know, upset people and, you know, change a song so much that everyone rants on the forums about how much you've ruined the RuneScape soundtrack. You know, obviously that's not what we want to do. But
what we want to tap into is like that nostalgia, so people can hear a theme or a motif and it's instantly recognizable. It takes them back, but it's something in a new way. It's treated in a new contemporary modern way.
That was the best thing for me personally, is reading the forums and reading players' comments.
For Ian, it's like a dream come true, because this is how often he's imagined these songs from day one, but the technology never allowed them to be interpreted the way he wanted them. So
that's right,
to hear it played by a full orchestra or live musicians coming in is you know, really pretty cool for you, isn't it?
It was amazing. I mean, having the musicians in as well was just amazing. You know, to work with these kind of people and to really let the imagination sort of take hold. But you know, we're going to do more. We're going to do more stuff. There's plenty more pieces of music to rework.
Any more questions? Anybody? One down here.
Hi.
Hello.
One of my favorite tracks is Arise Hero, but the issue here is that you can't play it in game.
Right.
It's only on the download page.
Ah, okay.
And it's just a minute long, I believe. So is it possible to add it into the game and extend it a little bit?
It may be. The trouble is we've got so many pieces of music in the game now that we're probably going to have to change the tech again soon so that we can have more tunes in the music player. I mean, as you might be aware, we're coming up to 1,000 songs that can be unlocked, at least in the game. So we want to do something cool for that as well.
Yeah.
And some of the songs are deliberately designed to not be unlockable and played in the music player because they're just there to kind of complement a quest or, you know, something that's happening, a boss fight or something like that. All the most, important pieces that we consider, we try and unlock them. But
I think Arise Hero is a good one, though. I think that's one we'll definitely look at putting in, because it's a really strong theme. So yeah,
I mean, anything like that, you know, obviously, you know, we always say sort of, you know, get in touch with customer support. You could even submit a bug report for something like that. You know, we do look at them, and obviously anything to do with audio, because we're such a small team, we really love to read that stuff. And yeah, if there's things that need to be done, we'll try and get on with them and get them done.
Ask on the forums or send me a tweet or something like that.
True, yeah,
pester me that way, that's fine.
Tweet Mod Lord?
Yeah. Jagex Lord.
Jagex Lord?
Yeah. Any more questions? Are we good for time? Are we done?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Excellent.
We can let everybody go early.
Yeah, fire away.
What would you say were your most fun projects to work on?
Musically?
Yeah, musically.
I really liked the kind of like the dwarf stuff. I mean, I did some reworks of the dwarf recently, the dwarf music, which you may, if you've played the Birthright of the Dwarves Quest, that was really good fun, kind of working. Although it wasn't a choir we recorded, it was really great to have them in there and give the dwarves a real sort of, you know, meaty, heavy kind of sound. But I mean, I like fun tracks and stuff like that. I like kind of like the really kind of quirky, sort of strange music as well. Flute Salad was quite a popular one. I mean, you heard a little bit of it that we played before. You know, I actually got some congas and bongos that I borrowed from a friend of mine. That's why it's not finished. But I came in and kind of like played those. Those have got to be, you know, integrated into it. But I mean, with so many pieces of music, it's I can't pick a favourite. You know, RuneScape is a really cool game to work on, and you know, it's got a bit of everything.
My favourite one's probably going to Bratislava for 3 days was
Sounds terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean there's a pretty special moment doing that, to be honest. And the complete contrast to that, I like doing the comedy stuff, so I wrote the port stuff and the Cook's Assistant musical and do all the videos, and my life has turned into a bit of a parody, I think, these days, and whether it's going down the right way, I don't know, but I get a real kick out of
You just do that musical, Steve, and then all will be well.
Yeah, so I like the singing songs, like I wrote Wending Through the Willows and Valerio's song and things like that, so those are my kind of favourite things, particularly with words. I've got we've actually written a new song. It's not in game yet, but it is sung to the RuneScape theme, which sounds a really strange thing to do, but it's quite an emotive song. So maybe that will crop up in game at some point.
Right, well, that's it. That's all we've got time for.
Are we done?
Thanks ever so much for coming.
Thank you, everybody.
Really appreciate it.